lot of time the person is your comfort zone. There is a sense of attachment, and there is a belief that if I let go of this person, I would be alone. And maybe it was really all my mistake. And if this person leaves, I may not find even someone as good, or better is another thing, but I may not even find someone as good. So it can be fear of loneliness.
So, in your opinion, does positive affirmations affect a relationship, or does it help in attracting a certain type of relationship to you?
I don't know if you've heard this, but in Iran they say, if they say, look at the mother.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask for a girl's hand,
Yeah.
look at the mother,
Yeah.
and then choose the girl.
Yeah.
Because the girl is going to become a Xerox copy of the mother unless she chooses to change.
Yeah.
So this is not only about the good things; it is also about all the carryovers of emotional difficulties, challenges.
So, is there a difference between manifesting a partner or just getting yourself ready for that one person?
Yeah, I really like this fictional belief system about love, that someone will come on a white horse if you're a girl and will take you and you would be happily ever after. And then if it is a
Shiny.
boy, then there would be a woman who will become the mother of your kids and keep you very happy. Now, if someone wants to come and share that with you and add to it, very nice. And if there is no one, and so be it. No one is going to come, that one true love is going to come and make you happy. That's a myth.
So, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Suryanshi, your host, and today we are going to talk about something that a lot of people might relate, and everyone has gone through this at some point in their life. You often hear people say that why this person keeps on coming, or why am I attracting the same person again and again. Is it really true, or is it something deeper than that? So, to answer this question, we have our coach, Miss Seher. So, hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Welcome back to the channel.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
And how are you doing today?
I'm perfectly fine. Excited.
Yeah, so today we are going to talk about relationships mainly, and the different aspects of it.
So my first question from you is law of attraction bringing negative people into our lives, or are we unconsciously bringing them by ourselves?
It is both. When you're unconscious of your patterns,
Yeah.
the patterns which are unpleasant, with the help of law of attraction, help you to bring the unpleasantness. Now it can be in terms of people, or it can be in terms of any experience. So it's actually a combination of what none of them separately can work.
Yeah.
You have to have a base on which law of attraction will work. So if your base is negative or unpleasant, that's what the law of attraction will amplify in your
Amplify
life.
it. So it's a mixture of both the things.
Yes.
So, ma'am, many people say that I know this person is bad for me, but still I cannot let go. So, what is your take on this? Why do people, repeat such things even if they're aware about it?
So, see, a lot of time the person is your comfort zone. There is a sense of attachment, and there is a belief that if I let go of this person, I would be alone. And maybe it was really all my mistake. And if this person leaves, I may not find even someone as good, or better is another thing, but I may not even find someone as good. So it can be fear of loneliness. It can be, see, whatever we become habitual of and we are too familiar and comfortable with, we want to hold on to. So it can be a person, a toxic job, it can be anything, right? So this can be another reason. The third very important reason is maybe your lesson with this person or the situation is not complete. If you have not really learned whatever you had to learn, or you haven't completed your karmic cycle with this person, then there is, no matter how unpleasant it is and how much you don't want it, or how much you're trying to resist it, the issue will persist till it is resolved. So it can be any of these reasons.
So, in your opinion, does positive affirmations affect a relationship, or does it help in attracting a certain type of relationship to you?
See, positive affirmation is about trying to um, overwrite a certain belief, right? So, if your belief is about that, my partner is not nice, or this relationship is really bad, there is no solution, and you are now affirming that I am finding the resolution, both me and my partner are harmonious. Like you're reprogramming yourself in this way, yes. But if the cause of the toxicity or the unpleasantness is something deeper, it is a belief or it's a karmic account, then you have to work more. Then affirmation alone won't really be that helpful.
In your opinion, why do healthy relationships they tend to feel boring, and the relatively toxic ones they feel very exciting?
The healthy relationships don't feel boring. They are actually boring because there's nothing to fight over. There is no adventure. There is no, guess game, blame game. There is no trying to fool each other, manipulate each other. So the part of the mind which operates from ego and likes all these mind games and all this stuff, looking for the end of adventure, the extreme of, attachment and all of that, that is losing its job. So then it's going to feel boring. But the issue is, if we are bored in a relationship, how can we create positive structure? How can we create positive activities? How can we create positive excitement? A kind of adventure that actually suits the relationship instead of creating chaos. Let's say learning together, doing extreme sports together, going for adventure trips, or instead of playing mind games with each other, play games that requires your mind to advance its mental capacity. So if we learn to understand our boredom, because that's where the creativity and that's where the thriving of life starts. If you put a seed into the ground and it is supposed to stay there for 9 months, it's going to get bored because there's nothing to do under the ground, and slowly it will start to grow roots and then the branches and then it comes out and then there is shoots up and sunshine and now whatever, bear fruits and all. But those 9-10 months for this whole tree to come up this beautiful, valuable, colorful was a very boring period. Dark, damp, useless, thinking I don't know what's happening, I can't even see sunlight. So these are the times of boredom where you actually build things, right? So for a relationship also you are supposed to do that. But toxicity, because one, we are very familiar, then it gives us a sense of challenge, then we want to pick up a bad boy or a bad girl and we want to turn them into angels. That's not going to work. That's fantasy of the mind and it's going to just create chaos.
Yeah. So you've mentioned that your toxicity is familiar to them. So it is, in most of the cases, it might be also related to their families or the toxic patterns that they keep on.
Not most cases, a lot of cases, because see, a child is a blank slate mostly. Of course, we carry our past life memories, but when the child is born or is in the womb, is a blank slate. Now, whatever the environment is going to feed the child is going to register at the subconscious level of mind, and then till the age 7, the character is being fixated kind of, and after age 7 we are just recycling what we know. We're not really adding anything unless we purposefully, consciously want to change things, right? So of course the toxicity, the attachment to chaos, let's say attachment to manipulation, mind games, victimhood is coming from the environment and from the childhood.
So, ma'am, another question I have. So you have said that in the mother womb, the kids they tend to absorb everything. So if a mother or a father, if they're having a toxic relationship while the mother is pregnant, so has there been any cases and the same thing is happening to the child, or they're
it is, the pattern gets repeated. I don't know if you've heard this, but in Iran they say, if they say, look at the mother. If you're going to ask for a girl's hand, look at the mother and then choose the girl. Because the girl is going to become a Xerox copy of the mother unless she chooses to change. So this is not only about the good things, it is also about all the carryovers of emotional difficulties, challenges, belief systems, whatever the mother felt. So we carry, and most inner child cases we deal with is a result of this, that children just become exactly like the parents they so don't want to become like.
So they keep on attracting the same people, they're avoiding ones. So is there a difference between manifesting a partner or just getting yourself ready for that one person?
Which one person is the question?
Your true love, suppose it's true love.
Okay, I really like this fictional belief system about love,
Yeah.
that someone will come on a white horse if you're a girl and will take you and you would be happily ever after. And then if it is a
Shining.
boy, then there would be a woman who will become the mother of your kids and keep you very happy. These are all fantasies. It's very nice to read about them, but life doesn't happen that way, right? So you need to be ready for life. And whether that life brings someone as your life partner or doesn't bring someone as your life partner, it should not really affect you. You should be so confident and so self sufficient and so happy within yourself that no matter what happens, you are centered, you believe in yourself, and you are thriving and living your best life. Now, if someone wants to come and share that with you and add to it, very nice. And if there is no one, and so be it. No one is going to come, that one true love is going to come and make you happy. That's a myth. The happiness you're chasing or giving the responsibility of your happiness to someone else, you're actually now telling the universe, I can't take care of myself. I am helpless, I am hopeless, I need someone to take care of me. And then that person will come, and law of attraction will only make you more hopeless and helpless. So, what is true love is the sense of you knowing yourself, thriving in life, and then if someone comes, well and good. If your intention is that you want to share your life with someone and you want to make it better, this is excellent. But if you think you want to attract someone to come and make you happy and that is true love, that's not going to happen.
That brings me to my next question. If someone who's going through a major heartbreak, is it possible during that time, during that hopeless time, someone can manifest the love that?
No, they can't. I mean, if you are destined to meet someone who will bring you out of that phase and then also stay with you, that's beautiful. But that's 0.0001% of the cases. Usually, you attract someone on a rebound, and usually you attract a very similar person. It's just the covering and the packaging is different, but inside you are getting the same defective piece. Okay, so I really suggest people should heal the heartbreak, and understand why the heartbreak is so painful, and what they can do, to come out of it on their own. Once they are out, they are happy, they are doing what they are doing, and they are at a better place, then they have an awareness what went wrong in the relationship, and they know they don't want to repeat it. Then only they open themselves, for someone new to come in. You can't be just randomly be waiting, having one person after the other. It's not going to lead anywhere. It will just create more chaos because you have a wound.
Yeah.
It hasn't healed. Now you're putting hot oil on it. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah. So, so my next question is that what is the biggest myth about law of attraction when it comes to relationships?
That you can attract the person you want, because see, you may attract the person. It's not that the law of attraction won't work, but it is not necessarily the person who were supposed to be with you or the person who can actually add value to you. When law of attraction is going to work for you, and when you're trying to use it to forcefully, by way of manifestation and all of that, attract someone into your life, and then you will indulge in manipulation, mind games and things like that, and that attachment to your desire will cause the relationship to become a difficult one usually, or leads to separation and loss, because you forced the universe to give you something which either wasn't the time or wasn't the right person, or you were not ready for it, in whichever way, right? Now, this wanting to attract that specific person, through law of attraction happens, but that's really not it is not supposed to be done. So I think that's the biggest myth, that okay, you manifest someone through affirmation and things like that and everything would be okay. You will manifest your soulmate. I think that's the biggest lie.
Myth. Yeah. So, someone who has been single for years, and they start to feel hopeless, what would be your advice, from starting today onwards? What is that one thing they should stop doing?
Stop being hopeless. Yeah, because if you're single and your entire value, so you're hopeless because what? Because you think you can no more attract someone, or whatever. There must be some reason, right? But if you're operating from hopelessness and you have reached a place where mm, all of life is about just this one particular issue, then
Yeah.
yes, you are a hopeless case. So you need to stop. You need to start living life fully, and then allow life to bring to you to the person who can add more to your life.
So ma'am, someone who has been single all their life, so do you think they have a lot of expectations or that are not being met?
So actually, we can't generalize because a lot of people are choosing to be single nowadays, and we really can't generalize whether it is high expectation or whether it is, let's say, lack of an opportunity. We really can't say this, but of course, there is something which is telling us that this person is not ready to share his or her life. So maybe they can look at that place, that what is it that either I'm fearful of or not ready for. Usually, it is a fear of commitment, or they have gone through a lot of pain and now they're choosing that I want to choose peace over, wanting to handle someone else's chaos or just add to mine. It can be any reason, can't generalize it.
So, if there was this one message you would give to everyone before entering a relationship, what would that be? One thing that they should, keep in mind before entering a relationship, some sort of expectation or anything.
No, first of all, I would say I think the first thing is that have absolutely no expectation. Whether it's a relationship, whether it is life, you need to take everything one day at a time. And I would say only get into a relationship if you're willing to put in the effort in terms of having difficult conversations, in terms of, wanting to go the extra mile, in terms of showing empathy and compassion. And also remember that the relationship is about two people. You are supposed to take care of the other person and yourself both. Neither it should be everything about you nor about only the other person, losing yourself. So I think the key word here would be balance. If you can maintain balance, then only get into a relationship.
Okay. So, now we are going to end our podcast. So, thank you so much for coming
Thank
here,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Totally
Yeah.
my
If
pleasure.
you have any doubts or any questions you have in your mind, so do let us know. Comment down below in our comment section and we'll get back to you on this. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.